Nita tells me I'm not smiling enough and that I need to present a more uplifting presentation in my videos, so I'll give that a shot. What I wanted to talk to you about today is the tribe that we're building. I'm getting a lot of feedback from people, and they're sharing articles with me, and I'm sharing articles with you, and that's what I want to do. That's what my hope was, that this would become a tribe of investors, of people who want to get a leg up on the investment world, learn from each other, and through sharing, the tribe benefits completely together. I got an article from Joe Morey from New Hampshire. He sent me a link to an article from the Wall Street Journal, and it's entitled "Landmark Hot Qubit Research Promises Bigger, Cheaper Quantum Computers." It's a fascinating article. I'm going to put a link to it in the description here. And it's a bit over my head, but that's okay. I always like when they end the article with a video where someone explains what the article is all about. And this has that. So when you go to it, go to the bottom and watch that video. And what you're going to see is what I've been talking about, is the coming together of artificial intelligence, big data, quantum computing, smart homes, smart cars. All this is going to drive us to a total new world. And that's another subject I want to talk about relative to the change that is occurring right now. This was in today's Wall Street Journal. And again, I'll include a link to it in the description below. And what it talks about is how there's a group of people who are recognizing that the coronavirus has a very distinct cough, and that through the use of artificial intelligence and your smartphone, when you cough, the smartphone can recognize that you have a coronavirus cough. Now, there will be an app on your phone that will basically hear you like Alexa does or whatever, or when you're talking on the phone and you cough, it will immediately send that cough into the cloud. It will compare it through artificial intelligence with millions of other coughs, some who have the virus, some who don't, and give you a heads up immediately that, hey, you need to go get checked. Now, this all takes me, when I read this article, I thought, wow, that's basically another step from the smart bathroom that I shared with you in a couple of videos ago. This is going to happen, folks, and it's going to be then driven by another, I think was just in the last video I did, where Apple and Google are coming together to track people who do and don't have the virus, and thus be able to alert you if you've come in contact with someone who has subsequently been diagnosed with the virus. So what I'm getting at is this is all coming back to technology. This is all coming back to the biggest change, the biggest event that has happened in our lives. And again, I've lived through some pretty big events. I didn't live through World War II. I was kind of a product of, I was the baby boomer. I lived through Vietnam. I lived through the 9/11. I lived through the subprime crisis. And this, the coronavirus, is going to dwarf all those in the respect that the change that is going to occur in our lives as a result of the event itself. Now, what does that mean for an investor? That basically means that if you can recognize the companies that are going to participate in this overwhelming change, and I again come back to the big nine, and we're really interested in the big six, that being IBM, Microsoft, Google, Apple, and Facebook, and Amazon. Those big six are going to change the way we live. Now, in this article about the coughing recognizing on the phone, It's being done by a small startup company, not publicly traded, but it's almost a given that the people with the deep pockets are going to buy this technology, combine it with the technology that they already control, the artificial intelligence, the quantum computers, the cloud computing, and then take that technology and make our lives better. Again, I'm not going to address the privacy issues. I know some of you have commented and said, that'll never happen to me. That's okay. That'll be your choice, but it will probably limit your exposure to the rest of the world by making that choice. We have to recognize that in the future, before you go into a theater with 150 other people, before you go to an Alabama-Auburn football game with 110,000 other people, before you go into a restaurant, an airplane, a cruise ship, you're going to have to be able to prove to the other people who you're going to be sitting next to, walking next to, talking to, eating with, whatever, you're going to be able to have to prove to them through the cloud, through artificial intelligence, that you don't have a communicable disease. That's a given. That has to happen. So as investors, we have the benefit that we know it's coming. And if you will search, this is the beauty of this. I just passed 2,500 subscribers. I have something in the neighborhood of 35,000 views of my videos on a monthly basis. And that's going to skyrocket. That's going to go to millions. If we have that kind of pool of people sharing information, sharing articles, sharing videos, we're going to be ahead of the game. We're going to see what's happening. It's just like my mind is one mind, but I now have 2,500 other minds that are interested in the same thing, that are going to help me, help you, and we will all benefit. We're building a tribe. You may have seen, every once in a while, I wear this hat. Best of us, best of US. I've designed a new hat. I've designed a new hoodie. Here's some pictures of them. And I'm going to put these on the Best of US Investors store that I'm building, and I want you to buy them. I want you to wear your colors proudly, and I want you to build this tribe of Best of Us investors. I don't want to say US. I want to say Best of Us investors, because I have a lot of people from Sweden, from England, from Canada, from the Ukraine, even from India and China. I don't know how the people from China, maybe they aren't Chinese. Maybe they aren't in China. But we are going to be the best of us investors. And I want to wear my colors, and I want you to wear your colors, and I want to build this into a community. I don't want this to be a normal YouTube channel where one talking head sits and talks all the time. I envision that someday, if Joe Morey from New Hampshire really understands this quantum computing, and he can share that with me, that he and I get on a video conference and he and I do this video. I envision that those of you, and you know who you are, who are high on Tesla, get on a video with me and convince me that Tesla is what you think it is, because I don't. And I just think that would be so cool that we had a community. And maybe I make my trip to Ireland and I'm walking through Dublin and I see somebody with a Best of Us Investors hat. How cool would that be? Let's come together. The store isn't ready, but as soon as it is, I will let you know. Juan in San Diego has to help me get this done right. I spent most of the day yesterday, and I've decided I'd rather pay somebody that knows what they're doing than to spend 8 hours of my time trying to make something happen that I'm not capable of. So we're building a tribe. This excites me. I'm smiling. I think you need to, again, in the description, I'll give you the links rather than trying to email them to you. So whenever you see this video, you'll be able to. And then, if you read an article, if you think you have something that you need to share with the tribe, send it to me. You've got my email address. Send it to me. Register at Best of Us Investors and become a part of the tribe, and that way I'll connect you and I'll let you know when the store opens.